Imagine terror disguised as boredom. Imagine chaos with a calm face. The most dangerous among us doesn't stir, doesn't brag, doesn't display spreadsheets or productivity awards. He seems quiet. He seems absent. But there, in the silence where everyone sees failure, dwells a power the world fears, though it can't name it. It's not the workaholic who transforms reality. It's not the genius who collects diplomas. It's the one who dares to stop, who dares to listen to the whisper within, while everyone else screams outside. The ambitious flower, that paradoxical creature, hated by those who try too hard and create nothing, secretly loved by those who dream of stopping, but won't allow themselves to. He is a mirror. He returns to the world the lie of merit, the failure of empty effort, the farce of blind productivity. He is not standing still. He is germinating. And you, the judging spectator, who measures others with the yardstick of someone else's discipline, do you dare to look within? Doesn't it worry you that those who don't do anything think better than you, who do too much? Your haste is fear disguised as efficiency. Your constant movement is an escape from your own sterility. The machine you move with pride may only produce noise, but it, the seemingly idle one, is there, still as an abyss. And the abyss, as we know, stares back. So I ask you, have you encountered this abyss within yourself? Have you recognized yourself in that flood that bothers you because it doesn't obey? If so, write in the comments, "The abyss is within me." If not, wait, time will tell. Imagine a cafe. On one side, the priestess of progress, laptop glowing, schedule color-coded, her fingers pounding the keyboard like drums of war. She is the avatar of hustle, the goddess of efficiency. But across from her, in the corner, eyes unfocused, body limp, a man scrolls his phone in stillness. You see him, and you scoff. You see her, and you applaud. But here's the heresy. She's updating her LinkedIn. He's envisioning a transport system that could rewrite how cities breathe. While she refines her image, he reshapes reality. And that, my friend, is why you fear him. He threatens your religion, the cult of doing. You see, it's not laziness that terrifies society. It's the unpredictable force of untamed brilliance. The lazy ambitious is a contradiction that breaks your logic. He dreams in silence, creates in chaos, manifests without marching. He doesn't chase results, because results chase him. You hate him not because he's idle, but because he doesn't need your rituals to touch the divine. He works with time, not against it. He listens when the world screams. And while you hustle, he hatches revolutions. Tell me, have you ever created something valuable when you were calm, when you were still? Share that moment. Let others know the storm lives in silence. Carl Jung saw this figure clearly, not as slothful, but as someone playing a different game entirely. While society ran laps around empty goals, the so-called lazy one stood still and watched. Not in apathy, but in presence. Jung called this presence something ancient, something terrifying. The shadow. It's everything you refuse to see in yourself. Everything the system told you to exile. In this figure, the ambitious Flojo, the shadow awakens. He refuses to perform, to validate himself through motion. And in that refusal, he becomes dangerous. Why? Because he doesn't need your applause to believe. In his vision. And that is power without permission. When was the last time you did something simply because you wanted to? Not because it was strategic or impressive or profitable, but because your soul whispered yes. You don't remember, do you? Because they trained you otherwise. Trained you to see rest as weakness, slowness as sin, contemplation as failure. They made you fear your own rhythm. But the lazy ambitious, he reclaimed it. He sleeps when tired. He walks when moved. He creates not from pressure but from presence. That's why he frightens you. He reminds you of the freedom you gave up to be productive. And now, you can't unsee it. There's something sacred about the stillness of the lazy ambitious. While others rush through tasks, wear exhaustion like a badge, and chant the gospel of busy, he wanders through thought like a mystic through a desert. He does not confuse movement with meaning. His inactivity is not emptiness, it is fermentation. While the world drowns in its addiction to speed, He trusts the slow alchemy of the unconscious. Beneath the surface of his silence, neural storms rage, fragments of vision collide, and future worlds gestate. He is not idle. He is incubating. His apparent stillness is a veil. Behind it, tectonic shifts are taking place. To call that laziness is not just ignorance, it is fear, masking itself as judgment. And yes, it is fear. The fear that everything you were told might be a lie. That perhaps waking up at 5 a.m., filling journals, optimizing schedules, and chasing clarity were just rituals to avoid looking inward. Because when you finally stop running, what do you find? Silence? Chaos? A void? Or something worse? Yourself? The lazy ambitious does not run from that encounter. He invites it. He sits with the discomfort, the uncertainty, the long dark tunnels of his own mind. And in that darkness, he finds what the productive never do: original thought, deep, uncorrupted insight, the kind of truth that cannot be scheduled or strategized, only surrendered to. And that, more than any achievement, is what makes him dangerous. You were taught that greatness comes from grind, that if you just push harder, sleep less, plan more, something miraculous will emerge from the effort. But the lazy ambitious knows a secret. Most of what you call productivity is theater. It is movement for movement's sake, not evolution, not transformation. He knows that true creation doesn't arise from calendars and checklists. It erupts from the collision between the unconscious and the real, like lightning from still skies. While you measure success in completed tasks and inbox zeros, he waits, not out of hesitation, but out of precision. He waits for the moment when the soul aligns with the world, when the vision sharpens, when the idea lands with the weight of inevitability. Then, and only then, he acts, and the world trembles. You resent him for this, not because he's wrong, but because you secretly know he might be right. You see the confidence in his stillness and it shakes you. How dare he be calm in a world on fire? How dare he not panic? How dare he not participate in the frantic race to nowhere? Because if he's right, then maybe your struggle isn't noble. Maybe it's just noise. Maybe all your discipline has been a mask for fear, a ritual to ward off the abyss. And that possibility, that your suffering might be unnecessary, is more terrifying than failure itself. It means you've spent years climbing a mountain that never mattered. It means you could have chosen peace, and didn't. Jung understood this fear intimately. He knew that when two personalities meet, truly meet, both are transformed. But what happens when one refuses to play the expected role? When one remains still as stone while the other flails for recognition? A disturbance arises, a fracture in the mirror of certainty. The lazy ambitious does not react the way society demands. He does not validate your urgency, nor return your energy with matching momentum. He simply exists, and that paradoxically is the most revolutionary act. Because in a world driven by validation, silence is subversion. In a marketplace of constant affirmation, presence becomes power. The lazy ambitious reflects the system's emptiness back to itself, and the system recoils. You see, he is not here to win your approval. He is here to remind you of your nature, of the rhythm you buried under schedules, of the instincts you silenced with logic, of the visions you traded for goals. While others posture and perform, he recedes into himself, not out of weakness, but necessity, because his laboratory is internal. His genius does not shout, it simmers. He walks slowly because his thoughts are dense. He sleeps late because his dreams are working overtime. He may seem lost, but he is following a compass the world forgot: intuition. And that compass does not point to productivity. It points to truth, to depth, to transformation. All the things your culture has labeled inefficient, unprofitable, or worse, foolish. While others chase results with desperation, he nurtures vision with devotion. He does not force the fruit to ripen. He studies the season, the soil, the sun, and when the time is right, he harvests with precision. This is what society cannot stand, that he refuses to rush, that he trusts the slow intelligence of becoming. Because the system thrives on panic. It feeds on urgency. It needs you. Restless, unsatisfied, endlessly optimizing. But the lazy ambitious? He has no interest in being optimized. He is not a machine. He is not a resource. He is a force of nature, unpredictable, uncontrollable, unapologetically out of sync with your metrics. And because he cannot be measured, he cannot be managed. Because he cannot be managed, he cannot be used. And this is the real threat. Not that he will fail, but that he will succeed without obeying, that he will create without conforming, that he will arrive without running. He proves, simply by existing, that another path is possible, a path of deep listening, of inner alignment, of creative solitude, a path where ambition is not a symptom of lack, but an overflow of authenticity. In him, you see the collapse of your excuses. You see that maybe all your urgency was optional, maybe your anxiety wasn't noble, maybe your suffering wasn't required. And if that's true, then what was all the sacrifice for? What were you chasing? And who told you that you had to run? The lazy ambitious dismantles more than productivity myths. He exposes the machinery of control beneath them. Society does not demand your labor out of necessity. It demands your obedience through performance. The rituals of busyness are not about impact. They are about predictability. When you schedule every hour, measure every step, and document every thought, you become legible, trackable, containable. But he refuses this. He resists visibility. He disappears into books, into dreams, into thought. His timelines are erratic. His process is opaque. You cannot manage what you cannot see, and you cannot exploit what you do not understand. That is why the lazy ambitious is treated like a threat, not to the economy, but to the mythology that sustains it. He is proof that the human spirit does not need to be monitored to be meaningful. And still, despite the suspicion, the ridicule, the loneliness, he does not yield. He knows that true creation is not a transaction, but a communion. That inspiration is not summoned by force but invited through surrender. While others extract productivity from every moment like desperate miners, he allows silence to speak. He listens for patterns in chaos. He traces the logic of dreams. He walks away from applause to hear the quiet voice beneath the noise. He knows that the most important ideas do not come from effort. They arrive like revelations, and he creates space for them. That space, that radical stillness, is his rebellion. It is where the unconscious reorganizes the fragments of existence into visions no strategy could ever produce. It is where depth is born. Think of Einstein, daydreaming, not diagramming, when relativity revealed itself. Think of Tesla, strolling at dusk, as machines appeared in his mind whole and glowing. Think of Jung himself, sinking into what the world called madness, only to surface with maps of the soul. These men were not anomalies. They were simply unafraid of the silence. They trusted the unconscious to deliver what the conscious mind could never force. The lazy ambitious walks the same path. He does not chase lightning. He becomes the storm cloud. His power lies in receptivity, in his ability to wait, patiently, dangerously, until the idea arrives. And when it does, it is not tentative. It is total. It is transformation in motion. The world asks, "Where have you been?" And he answers by altering it. But this process cannot be scheduled. It cannot be monetized. It cannot be replicated in a weekend workshop or forced into a quarterly report. That's what terrifies the systems built on templates and timelines. The lazy ambitious is untamable because he draws from a source no one else controls. While productivity gurus teach you to conquer time, he dissolves into it. While they optimize their waking hours, he dives into dreams. While they preach discipline, he studies desire, the kind that whispers at 2 a.m. when the house is quiet and no one is watching. That desire cannot be faked. It cannot be borrowed. It emerges from a self you must first learn to trust. And he has learned. That trust is his freedom. That freedom is his danger. The culture of productivity fears him because he is living proof that value can be born in the dark, in the quiet, in the unquantified. He does not announce his process. He does not share his progress. He does not perform his journey for the approval of others. And yet, when he speaks, the ground shifts. His insights are not incremental. They are tectonic. They arrived not because he was productive, but because he was present, not because he fought time, but because he surrendered to its deeper currents. He did not try to beat the system, he ignored it into irrelevance. And that indifference, that radical inner orientation, is what makes him more than misunderstood. It makes him dangerous to every structure that feeds on conformity. What is it about him that unsettles you so deeply? Is it the way he doesn't rush? The way he doesn't need permission? The way he doesn't chase the illusion of control? Or is it something even more intimate? The sense that, somewhere inside, you are him, that there is a version of you who once dreamed without a plan, who created without fear, who moved to a rhythm no one else could hear. That part of you didn't die. It was buried, beneath deadlines, beneath expectations, beneath shame disguised as motivation. The lazy, ambitious, reminds you of that buried self, and the grief you carry for having silenced it. That's why you flinch. That's why you mock. Because he has become what you were told to forget. He does not seek to awaken envy, yet he provokes it. Not because of wealth or titles or visible success, but because of something rarer, inner permission. He has given himself the right to follow his nature, to trust his seasons, to honor the invisible work that happens in the dark. And that, in a world obsessed with appearance, is an unforgivable act. While others decorate their lives with metrics and milestones, he inhabits his with mystery. While others grind for validation, he rests in alignment. His ambition is not loud, but deep, not frantic, but focused. He is not trying to prove anything. He is trying to become something. And becoming, real becoming, cannot be rushed. It requires solitude. It requires slowness. It requires silence. Jung saw this clearly. He knew that the journey inward was the most radical journey of all. That the one who dares to face himself becomes a mirror the world cannot bear. The lazy ambitious is such a mirror. He does not argue with the tribe. He simply no longer belongs to it. He walks at the edge, gathering truths the center cannot comprehend. They call him impractical. They call him unmotivated. But history tells a different story. The greatest contributions often come not from those who perform the best, but from those who disappear, who wander, who wait. Because in that waiting, they see what others miss. And what they bring back is not more of the same. It is a new direction entirely. His path is not paved with recognition. It is walked in shadows, through doubts, across long winters where nothing seems to grow. And yet he walks, not because he knows where he is going, but because something within refuses to be still. His compass is not external. It is carved from silence, honed by solitude, and lit by glimpses of visions others do not see. The lazy ambitious is not aimless, he is patient. He does not demand the fruit before its season. He does not mistake noise for momentum. While others rush to build empires on sand, he waits for stone. And when he moves, it is not to impress, but to express. Not to gain status, but to fulfill something wordless and wild inside him. He is not broken, he is evolved. That's what the world cannot admit. Because if he is right, then perhaps the whole structure is wrong. Perhaps the way we define ambition, measure success, and assign value is not wisdom, but conditioning. He refuses to betray his rhythm for your approval. He does not need to be understood to be effective. And so he becomes a threat, not just to systems, but to psyches. He reveals the possibility that all this busyness, all this optimizing, all this performance might have been avoidance, that we have mistaken productivity for purpose, that we have forgotten how to be, and so we fear those who remember. But what does it mean to truly remember? To strip away the noise, the schedules, the deadlines, and listen, not to the market, not to your mentors, but to the murmur beneath your thoughts, to the slow emergence of something uniquely yours. The lazy ambitious does not chase trends, he chases truth. He does not grind toward goals, he grows toward visions. There is no blueprint for this, no step-by-step manual. It is a dance with the unknown, a romance with the unconscious. He courts the muse, not the manager. He follows the flicker of meaning, even when it leads him away from the crowd. And in doing so, he returns with gifts no algorithm could have predicted, no strategy could have summoned. This is why he is not just misunderstood. He is needed, desperately, In a world suffocating under its own speed, he is the reminder that slowness is not failure, that waiting is not weakness, that depth is not a distraction. He restores what efficiency erased: soul, imagination, silence. He reminds us that we are not here to be optimized. We are here to become. And becoming does not happen on a clock. It happens when we listen deeply, when we dare to follow the quiet call no one else hears. That is his crime. That is his gift. He did not abandon ambition. He redeemed it. He remembered what it was for. The tragedy is not that society mocks him. The tragedy is that so many like him never survive the ridicule. They contort themselves to fit timelines that were never theirs. They burn out chasing, approval that was never honest. They shrink their visions to make them palatable. And in doing so, the world loses what they might have offered: insights, inventions, revolutions. The lazy ambitious is not rare. He is simply rare to see, because most are crushed before they bloom. But when one survives, when one insists on trusting the slow fire within, something astonishing happens. A new language is born, a new form of ambition, one that is not a scream for significance, but a whisper of inevitability, a silent gravity pulling the future into shape. He does not demand applause. He does not crave the spotlight. When his time comes, it will not be announced with trumpets or trophies. It will arrive like dawn, soft, unstoppable, inevitable. Circumstances will align. The idea he's nurtured in silence will find its form, and those who once called him lazy will call him visionary. But he won't gloat. He won't say, "I told you so." He will simply continue, because he was never chasing recognition, only resonance. This is the irony. The very system that dismissed him will one day depend on what he creates, and they will forget how long he waited, how deeply he trusted, how wildly he believed. But you won't forget. You see him now, maybe because you are him. And if you are, if these words feel like a mirror held to your quiet defiance, then take this not as validation, but as invitation. Stop apologizing for your rhythm. Stop measuring your worth in output. Your mind is not a machine. It is a garden. And gardens do not grow by force. They grow by presence, by tending, by trust. Let others rush. Let them exhaust themselves with timelines and targets. You are not late. You are ripening. What they call laziness may be your genius taking form. What they mock as stillness may be your vision stretching its roots. And what you feel as doubt may be the sacred tension before the breakthrough. Don't abandon it now. Don't abandon yourself. So here is your call to action, not to grind harder, but to go deeper. Share this message with someone who needs to be reminded of their own pace. Comment below with what part of your ambition you've been hiding. Subscribe if you're ready to reclaim your rhythm, your voice, your vision. This world has enough noise. What it needs is your quiet power. The lazy ambitious is not the enemy of progress. He is its prophecy. And if you dare to trust your process, if you dare to let your truth ripen in its own season, you will not just change your life. You will become the reason others find the courage to change theirs. So let them call you lazy. Let them misread your silence, your stillness, your refusal to dance for their deadlines. They only see what they've been trained to admire: noise, numbers, movement. But you are no longer here to be admired. You are here to be real. You are here to be whole. And that wholeness includes the waiting, the wandering, the deep work of not knowing. The lazy ambitious carries a weight most cannot fathom, the weight of dreams too big for the present moment. He carries them without fanfare, without urgency, because he knows something the world forgot. The soul has its own seasons, and spring does not apologize to winter. Now breathe. You made it here not because you raced, but because you remembered. You remembered that brilliance is not a sprint, but a surrender. That depth takes time. That power can whisper. So share this if it touched something ancient in you. Like, comment, subscribe. Not to feed an algorithm, but to awaken a tribe. A tribe of those who dream differently, who move by instinct, who wait like seeds in the dark. The lazy ambitious is not your enemy. He is your permission. And maybe, just maybe, he was never someone else. Maybe he was you all along.